Hey Scott, we've got great news. We want to promote the Bragg, the Big Water. Actually, let me get this right. Risk assessment, I think. Big Wave Risk Assessment Group, Bragg, is coming to the Outer Banks. And this is the global leader in ocean safety education, founded by big wave surfers and water safety experts. They do these in-person summits, and then there's also an online surf responder course. But Bragg isn't just for big wave surfers; it's kind of for the global surf community to educate and make the ocean safer for everyone. So, participating in this gives you kind of first responder know-how for how to help somebody who's in a risky situation. So it's not just for you and your friends, but you could just be out in the lineup and experience somebody going through something dangerous and be able to help them out. So Bragg Summit is coming to the Outer Banks.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, really. I mean, I would ask you and the listeners to just put yourself in a position where you're out surfing, you're having a good time. It might not even be big. And there's somebody that all of a sudden is in distress. They're screaming, they're yelling, they're waving their hands. Like, what do you do at that moment? Right then, what do you do? What's the move? Do you paddle right up to them? Do you go to the beach and look for a lifeguard? Like these are real life things that are going to pop up in your life as a surfer. You and I've had numerous situations where I've had to come to the aid of somebody in distress. And this Bragg Summit in North Carolina at Real Water Sports, they're going to kind of lay the foundation so that you're going to feel comfortable when that weird situation pops up and somebody's like, help, 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 or whatever. However the situation manifests itself, you want to be comfortable. You want to know, okay, here's what to do. A, B, and C. Let's just go through. It's kind of almost like CPR. Like, look, A,
Yeah.
B, and C, man. A, B, and C. Let's keep it simple. And from there. So anyway, I highly recommend, and frankly, I would like to take the Bragg course.
Me too.
And there's a part of me because I have lifeguard training that's like, I think I know it, but I guarantee you that I'm ignorant to what's really the most important thing. There are going to be things that I'm going to learn, and if you think there aren't, then you're fooling yourself.
The
So yeah, no
the
matter
life
what, I guess what I'm saying is no matter what your level of water
yeah.
person or surfer that you think you are, have a little humility. Go in there with the thought that you can always learn from people, no matter who they are.
The lifeguard training that you learned was definitely applicable and fundamental, but the Bragg, it was started by big wave surfers specific to like that environment. And they realized really quickly that it's applicable in all environments in the water, basically. And so I think it's a next level of sophistication and training beyond what you learned as a lifeguard. So, anyways, if you're interested in participating, I have friends who have done this. I have my friends in Florida Surf Film Festival actually helped host this a couple of years back, and everybody raves and says that it's really important information. So, Bragg is BWRAG, Big Wave Risk Assessment, BWARG.com, bragg.com. So you could sign up for the course in the Outer Banks, and then our friends at Real Water Sports have that condo right next to their retail shop, and it's called the Waterman's Retreat. So they are offering a discount at the Waterman's Retreat. I think it's 15% discount. If you're participating in the Bragg Summit, you can go stay at the Waterman's Retreat and benefit from that 15% discount. And just go to watermansretreat.com to book that. And then and let them know, of course, that you're participating in the Bragg Summit and you'll get that 15% off. So pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then also, NVS is with us this week. Surfnvs.com is their website. But you know what? While you're in the Outer Banks at Real Water Sports, just waltz across the parking lot and buy a set of fins there.
Heck yes. There's so much good stuff amongst the Real Water Sports compound, and NVS is one of them. So pick yourself up some of the prime NVS fins and never be without.
I just got an email yesterday from trying to pull it up as quick as I can, but I don't think I'll be able to. Somebody who just got a set, he got a Panda Shiitake Twinser from
Oh,
Panda Surfboards, and he got the NVS set of fins in it. and or he contacted NVS and said, I got this board. I want some Twinser fins for it. And the guys, Leif, I don't know if it was Leif or Jamin, but they said, you know what? We're actually working on some new templates. We'll give you what you asked for, but then also try these new templates out as well, just to check it out, you know? And he was like, dude, how cool is that? Coolest recommendation ever. So if you want to benefit from not only great quality fins, but great customer service, surfnvs.com is where you do it.
As we see some movement at the takeoff zone, it's Kelly Slater grabbing rail.
Yeah, guy, David. Yeah, guy. It is the Spit Podcast. This is the podcast where we start each podcast with a yeah, guy call, if you will. It's an utterance. It comes from deep within the guttural diaphragm of each and every one of us. So we talk all things surf, and it is July 23rd, 2025. Good morning, David Scales.
Good morning, Scott Bass. Great to see you again.
Wow, that's kind of you.
How you feeling? Feeling better?
You know what? Today, I don't want to jinx it. And isn't that weird, the concept of jinxing it? The concept of putting a thought into my brain that would change the will of life in all of its importance. But without jinxing it, I'm going to say I kind of feel for the first time in about 2 weeks, I feel like I have some energy. Again, I don't want to jinx it. I do have the AG1 going, which I've been, you know, I guess religious about lately.
Good,
Look at you
good.
with your AG1 as well.
Mm,
Yours needs to be shaken. I see
I
some
know, I saw
AG1 at
that
the
too.
bottom of there.
Drinkag1.com/surf, by the way, for foundational nutrition. And by the way, they've kind of updated the formula consistently throughout our time that we've been, years that we've been drinking it. But they have a new formula. I think they call it Next Gen, which is like they've done multiple studies, like third-party studies testing it and it's all better than it's ever been, basically. Tastes very similar, but better than it's ever been. So go check out Next Gen at drinkag1.com/surf.
And I will say I'm a huge fan of this foundation training by Dr. Eric Goodman on YouTube. I just look at their YouTube channel and I go through these things to help with some back pain,
Right.
and it's really been helpful. It's almost like a miracle. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's for an older guy with back pain. It's one of these things where I'm like, dude, you got to try this. I'm like sending it to all my friends who are raising their hands with back pain. But I did it so crazily that I kind of hurt my ankle doing it. And I don't blame it on the foundation training. I blame it on myself, not stretching before. But I went to Dr. Nina Wheeler, and she didn't ask me for this plug, but I'm giving it to her anyway, at Highline Physical Therapy in Cardiff by the Sea. Nina really helped me. She gave me a series of exercises, basically rolling out my calves and doing things, knee bone connected to the heart bone type of thing. And so shout out to Nina. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
It looks like you busted your thumb in the interim. Despite all the
Yeah,
ups and downs, you got another step
dude,
back.
I did. I cut my thumb trying to, you know what I was doing? I was busting out some butter for my steak recipe. I put slabs of butter on my steak before I throw it in the oven for 5 minutes. And bad idea.
Wait, so you were cutting butter and you cut your thumb?
Frozen butter.
Oh,
It was
frozen butter.
frozen butter. Yeah. That sounds,
Man,
yeah, I'm the only guy that can cut butter and cut his thumb at the same time.
I was like a butter knife cut your thumb. Um,
Oh, man.
my advice for any newbie or non-chefs in the kitchen who just occasionally find themselves wielding a knife, dull knives are so much more dangerous than sharp knives. And almost 100% of times I've used other people's knives in their kitchens, they're dull. Very, very few people have properly sharp knives in their kitchen. And even if you have a knife sharpener in your kitchen, people aren't using it correctly. They're not using it often enough. I have a few. I'm not very good at sharpening knives, so I just take them and get them sharpened professionally. But when they're sharp, you never cut yourself because it cuts straight through the butter or the tomato or whatever else. And when it's slightly dull, it'll slide off that tomato skin right into your thumb.
Great cooking advice. You
You're
should do a
welcome.
cooking podcast. The greatest cooking advice I've received from you so far, because I know there's going to be more coming, is the Malden salt.
So good.
But Malden salt, I just put it on everything now. I'm
Me
just like
too.
putting it on my cereal.
Well,
It's
you get
amazing.
these salt crystals that are like as large as your pinky fingernail, basically, like these giant squares in that. And it's somehow less salty than 1 grain of table salt from the grocery store,
Yeah,
but
that's
more
amazing.
flavorful, or it
Wonderful.
accentuates more flavor. And the other bit of I've gotten thanks from a handful of listeners when we talked about that. My recommendation was buy the gallon jug on Amazon for $25 because the tiny little box at the grocery store of Maldon salt is $12, but you can get a gallon on Amazon for 25 and it'll last you a year. So I'll remind people of that.
By the way, speaking of salt, uh, your interview with Sean Davey, how great are surf photographers? Surf photographers are some of the greatest storytellers I've found. And I think it's because, I don't know, they're creative, they see things kind of from a different viewpoint through a different prism. But surf photographers are just wonderful storytellers.
I totally agree. I don't know. I need to be interviewing all of them basically.
I
They're
agree.
still
I think
alive.
that's, yeah, I think that's, you know, and if you get them in the right place too, like the right frame, you're gonna. I remember one of the most joyous moments of my career in the surf space, if you will, was sitting on a boat with Sean Davey and Brian Beelman and 8 to 10 foot perfect cloud break and all the pros out surfing. And I was just like, wow, I was just like listening to these two guys tell stories and I think Survey was in the boat too. And it was so I just sat back and took it all in. And I was just like the greenhorn. I didn't even know how to open the back of the camera,
Yeah.
and these
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah.
just like,
Did you hear that story he told about Tom Curren basting the turkey?
I saw a little tidbit of it on YouTube, I think, but I don't fill me in.
He paddled out
Excuse
to
me.
shoot backdoor and
Yeah.
water photography backdoor. And there's 30 people in the lineup. And Hank's at the front just shouting at people like, get out of the way, you know? So like Sean just goes, you know what? I'm just going all the way back to the end of the line. And then I'll get the shot of whoever's coming out of the barrel as they're exiting the barrel. So he's sitting way back there, and immediately Tom Curren paddles out. He's like, "Oh crap, this is going to be amazing!" And sure enough, Tom gets a set wave right out of the gates, and Sean Davey gets the shot of Tom exiting the barrel. He's like, "That was sick. That's so easy. Like that worked out perfectly." And before he knows it, Tom Curren's gone. He goes in. He's like, "Whoa!" He just paddles out for one wave and goes in. That's so weird. 30 minutes later, another set comes. Tom's on the set. And he goes, "Oh, I guess Tom's back out in the lineup." Goes in again. He's like, what the heck? He said it happened 3 or 4 times. Tom would go, paddle out, get one wave, ride it flawlessly. Davey would get the shot flawlessly, and Tom would go in. Come to find out, I mean, he knew it was Thanksgiving Day that day. Come to find out, Tom was going in between waves to baste the turkey. And Sean has photos not only of the waves that he's talking about, but then later that day being there at Thanksgiving with Tom carving the turkey up.
That's great. Look at us, more cooking stories. The
It's
the
all
cooking
related.
the
It's
cooking
all
stories.
it's all connected. But I thought after chatting with Sean, I was like, talk about somebody who designed their life correctly. He lives in Hawaii and his goal is to wake up in the morning and catch the morning light to shoot photos. I'm like, Hawaii is a vacation destination, first of all, and you figured out a way to live there. And secondly, you designed your whole profession to take in the beauty and share the beauty with other people.
Yeah, Sean's a treasure. He was the one guy who, would gave me some advice about how to shoot photographs. He was very giving. It was wonderful. Um, what I was going to say is one of the greatest Tom Curren storytellers, sadly, because he's gone, was Sonny Miller. Sonny had so many great Tom Curren stories, and Sonny was such a great storyteller. And Sonny used to drive down to San Diego at the radio station down there where we did the Surf Talk Radio. he would just call me up the day before and go, "Hey, dude, I'm coming down with some burritos. Do you mind if I sit in on the show?" And I'd be like, "Absolutely, please come down," you know. And he'd bring his little dog and some burritos. And on more than 3 or 4 occasions, we would just have great discourse. And Marty Thomas would be there, or who it might have been Baldy. And anyway, Sonny has great stories. But so that adds to what I'm saying is that interview surf photographers. And by the way, I think Brian Beelman would be a great one. If you can get Brian and get him to open up a little, you know, Brian's got this insane music thing. Like, talk about music. You can go down a whole hour of just talking to Brian about music. He's one of these guys that's got like 100,000 albums,
Wow.
you know, that he listens to from the old days, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you mention Neil Young, you're probably going to go into an hour rabbit hole on some really random Neil Young album.
Okay. Sweet. I'll add him to the list.
Yeah.
Get on it.
Yeah.
Well, JBay ended since we last spoke.
Yeah, it was. Is it blasphemous for me to say I was a little bored?
I think so.
Blasphemous or boring?
I think it's blasphemous to say that you were bored.
Okay. Well, I watched all the heats in the condensed replay thing, and
you're bored by the surfing?
Huh?
If you said you sat and watched it all day long, then I could say, okay, maybe there's boredom in between.
No.
But if you're saying you watched the condensed heat replays,
and
you were bored by the surfing,
here's what I came to. The tube riding is more important than anything at this point, in my opinion. Like, the Conor O'Leary barrel ride that he got was insane. Like, it was just incredible, right? Everyone saw it. I don't need to replay it here. But all the top turns, all the turns, like I just, and because I ended up watching some old footage of guys at JBay too. And the old footage when they're on single fins, the thing that's super exciting is them setting up for that barrel section at Super Tubes. And it's still the most exciting thing. We saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of incredible radical in the pocket backside rail gouging top turns. But the thing that got me excited was the tube.
Yeah.
And it will always get me personally excited. And I'm wondering if it gets you, David, excited and the listeners excited. Granted, because we see so many top turns. It's like, okay, another killer top turn. I mean, we saw 7 on one wave.
Totally
At some point, it gets a little bit monotonous.
I guess what we're waiting for in that event is the person who connects the 7 top turns into the tube in kind of one flawless. I mean, think about Tom Curren's first wave.
Right.
He does it flawlessly in that.
Exactly.
But what happens is that's 1 every 7 rides. And so the other 6 rides, it's just the top turns without that happening. And maybe it feels like a little bit of a latent energy that didn't get kind of like satisfied, you know? So I understand what you're saying in that aspect, but when it happens, it's exciting and it is a perfect wave and a perfect ride. And so it's worth it for the wait for me.
Yeah. I'm just, I don't know. I wonder if every wave had that Super Tubes barrel section, like Kelly Slater's wave pool at the end section there.
Yeah.
On the right and the left. Would that be then boring to me? I don't know.
Yes.
So there's something about it kind of coming and being a once in a, not every ride. So yeah, there's that. I guess that's part of it, right?
I thought Conor deserved the win, of course.
Of course.
It was really incredible surfing and like great to see him hit a zenith of, I don't know, what we've been seeing him kind of put together at different times in his career. He kind of put together all at once in this event. After 7 years on tour, got his first win. But I watched older Aki footage that week too. And Aki, I thought, was beyond reproach, kind of like the style of surfing that Aki was doing back then would still win heats today. Incredibly powerful, seamless, all that sort of stuff. The only difference with what Conor is doing is that the board has so much more curvature in certain areas. There's a lot more curves fitting into a more refined kind of foil. So he's able to go vertical. And Aki's kind of hitting the same part of the lip, but the board isn't necessarily vertical when Aki's doing it. And Aki does not as much rotation in the turn. So Connor is getting into more critical locations on the wave. But there's separation between Aki and Connor is really only in kind of degrees of angle on the turn, and it's not that great. For 20 years of advancement, it's not that huge of a leap from what Aki was doing to Connor. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, on some level, there's only so much turning on the wave face that we can do as surfers, no matter how we, refine and design the surfboards.
Yeah.
And frankly, the one thing that we all I mean, I think we can all acknowledge probably the greatest turn, no matter who's doing it, is that big vertical turn in this section, but that continues the down carve, right? The down carve has sort of become the epitome of a big turn. And sometimes we see guys doing kind of checky fin turns. They're vertical, granted, but they're a little checky. They're not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're just not full buried rail down the wave face, the down carve into the bottom turn seamlessly back up into it. And so, I mean, I think we've seen the greatest surfing turns we'll ever see from guys like Connor and Jack Robinson, and of course John Florence. Really, in my mind, John Florence, those down carves at Margaret River are sort of probably like that's it, and so we're searching for those moments throughout on tour when guys are in competitive situations.
Mm, Kind of to your point about a little bit of boredom, what I meant to say with the Connor and Aki analogy is that when you look at other events on tour or other stops on tour like Snapper, and you compare what was happening 20 years ago to now, it's leaps and bounds better because I guess of aerial surfing mainly, you know.
I
Whereas,
mean, but it's Snapper. Think about it. Really, what excites you about Snapper?
well, the barrel, I still agree with
Right.
you on
Like
that too. Yeah.
behind the rock, incredible late two-step drop, pull in to the
Okay.
sand wedge.
Yes, but I'm agreeing with you entirely. Look at the Burley event this year and that Felipe Toledo uh, crazy drop into the gutter, double up barrel to then alley oop out of the barrel. That's something that 20 years ago was futuristic and never would have been, blows
Right.
our mind. So what I'm saying is at different venues, there are leaps and bounds better over the course of 20 years. At JBay, there's a lot less separation between
Right.
20 years ago and now is all that I'm saying and trying to help you make the point of where that boredom may feel. It's because we've seen the same things over and over for a very long period of time. Of course, there are instances where Felipe Toledo does two alley oops on the wave and gets a 10-point ride 10 years ago. So that was different. But with what we saw this year with this style of waves that the swell provided, it felt similar to what we've seen in the past, just a slight degree of difference better. Um, but I don't know. I still loved it. I still love seeing it.
Yeah.
It's such a classic style.
Yeah. No, there's something exciting about seeing the sets, set up on the outer point there and roll through, and they're waiting, and it's exciting for sure. And hats off to Gabriella Bryan, by the way.
So what's interesting to me about her is, do you even remember her competing last season?
No,
I know. And this year, she's like an absolute force.
she's a power surfer, you know,
Yeah.
power.
Yeah. So I mean, Richard Dog Marsh is the coach of both of the winners of this event. So congratulations to him. And I'm wondering if he was working with Gabriella last year, or if that is the difference in her rapid ascension.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Sometimes just feeling comfortable on tour after, going through the motions for a year or two. Was she a
Yeah,
rookie last year?
I think so.
So there's
But
something about that too, just getting
but
comfortable and
but we've never, in my memory, we've never seen somebody go from rookie year obscurity to absolute dominance. I mean, she's not absolutely dominant because she's in second place still, but she's won. I think this is her third win of the season.
Yeah.
So that's pretty remarkable. I've never seen that happen. And what's interesting is even in other scenarios, like Ethan Ewing, um, didn't re-qualify his rookie year. So he came on tour. He had all these potential and hope in the world. Everybody had all the potential on him to do well his rookie season, and he didn't. And then he fell off tour and he had to come back, and now he's doing well. But that was a situation where he was a World Juniors champ. Everybody had all this expectation for him. Gabriella, nobody had that expectation for her. When she qualified on tour, she wasn't the name that we were talking about. We were talking about the Caitlin Simmers and whoever else, even Betty Lou, Sakura Johnson, Molly Picklum. And she just sat there waiting in the wings. And so the come up this year is the surprising part for Gabriella, but she's earned it. I mean, her surfing is that much, her power surfing is that much better than everybody else's on tour.
She's, you know, it's women's surfing, and we've said it over and over, but I don't know. There's just so much, you didn't see it coming, you know?
We saw it coming. We talked about it for 2 or 3 years straight.
No, I mean, to me, it was going to be like Caitlin and whoever, you know, like I don't necessarily recall going, you know, look out for Gabrielle Bryan. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm. No, that's my point too, is we didn't. But what's interesting, I think, is currently now there are dozens and dozens of women coming up that are set to disrupt. And so there was one or two early harbingers. And honestly, Caroline Marks was kind of the early one for me because there was this old guard of Stephanie Gilmore, Carissa Moore, Tyler Wright, probably one or two others, but this old guard who is winning titles. And then you could see this new, more innovative style of surfing coming up below them. And Caroline Marks was the first one on the scene. But to be honest, by this point, she's already long in the tooth compared to what's coming up behind her. And it's not just Caitlin Simmers, Molly Picklum, and Aaron Brooks. It's Kira Pinkerton, Mila Coca Brown, Sierra Kerr. There's this huge list. This girl who just won the Chopu trials. I don't know if you saw that, the 12-year-old. It's like there's dozens and dozens. And it almost feels like Stephanie Gilmore and Carissa Moore saw that writing on the wall. And they were like, you know what? Had a phenomenal career. Don't need to sit here like Kelly Slater for the next decade trying to keep up. Like,
Oh,
take I'll take, I've gotten incredible paychecks. I can maintain my legacy. I'll continue to earn, but time for me to make way.
yeah.
It really feels that way.
Yeah.
Like an acknowledgement, and just an
Yeah, I don't know.
acquiescing.
We'd have to ask those two ladies. I feel like, um, I mean, obviously in Carissa's thing, she wanted to move into a different phase of her life.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh shit, here they come. It was more like, that was killer. Now it's time for it to be more killer. I'm gonna have a family.
Yeah. Good on her.
Yeah.
Um, so did you see this girl who won the trials at
No,
Chopa?
no, tell me about this.
Um, Kalia Mahani Galina. I've been following her on Instagram for a little bit. She's 12 years old.
That's creepy. That's creepy.
It's not only through the lens that you're looking through would that be creepy. She is Miss Chopu on Instagram. Uh, and this is the first ever women's trials event, by the way. So they've never
I
held a
just want to
trials event.
state that you're following a 12-year-old girl on Instagram, and you have been for a while. You don't think
Yes,
that's kind of creepy?
not at all.
Yeah.
No, because she's an incredible surfer who just won the trials event, Scott. Anyways, she just won the first ever trials event for the women. She's been out there. I guess she lives there. Her dad runs her Instagram account, and
Yeah.
he kind of chimes in and comments and says, she's been surfing out there since uh, she's the youngest surfer out there, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And so, kind of interesting. She's the
Yeah.
youngest surfer ever to compete in a CT event once this takes place in 3 weeks.
Wow. Well, this is going to be something to, I mean, it's really good editorial fodder, right? For
Well,
the
I
for
think
the
we talked about this with Erin Brooks a little bit when she was younger. You watch young kids surf like that, and they're charging big waves and stuff, and it's like they're so bendable at that age, and they're so light I almost feel like that's to their advantage. Like when you wipe out, if you're lightweight, you don't somehow get as beaten and flogged as badly as if you're heavy. And again, you're more bendable at that age. Your bones are less likely to break, your joints are less likely to, your tendons are less likely to snap, all that sort of stuff. So there's almost, and you don't know the consequence of your actions at 12 years old. So it's almost a distinct advantage from 12 as opposed to, let's say, 16 or 17.
I'm trying to pull up the heat draw to see where she's at here, but
I think she draws the number one seeds.
well, anyway, it'll be interesting to see. There's nothing really on here about her win on the
You can find it on
WSL.
her Instagram.
Yeah.
Miss Chopo is her Instagram. So as leading into Chopo, I guess, coming out of JBay, obviously there's major title implications. Stab Magazine was kind enough to run the numbers for us so that we don't have to just run the math.
Yeah.
And basically, obviously, one more event before the final five are locked in for Cloud Break. Yago and Jordy on the men's side are safe mathematically.
Really? It doesn't say that. WSL just says Yago.
So I can't tell you whose math is right, whose is
Right.
wrong, but Stab Magazine says Jordy is safe as well. It's just a matter of there can be shifting between first and second, of course. So currently
Yeah.
Yago is placed first, Jordy is second. That can switch, which is of course a distinct advantage this year.
Oh, yeah.
Which we
That's the
didn't.
big news, right? That's
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was
the big news.
totally. Yeah, we didn't state that last week. I think the news came out after we recorded, but there's an adjustment to the finals day format, and that is that previously it was whoever ended up in the finals match, first versus second, would have three best of three heats. In this scenario, if number one wins the first heat, they take the title.
Yeah. If the number one seed wins the first heat, it's over. So it puts a lot of pressure on that first heat for the guy who's in that second position.
I
He
mean,
has to go out and get it done.
and this rule was made, I think, in the with the goal of fairness, more fairness. Basically, if you come into the final event ranked number one, you should have an advantage over number two. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But that also, of course, puts more pressure on those two guys who are battling it out for number one in this event at Chopu. So that's good too. Kanoa Igarashi is, quote, probably safe, meaning there's a number of people below him that would all have to do really, really well in order to dethrone him, and he would have to do poorly at Chopu to lose this spot. So he's looking good for a top five finisher. And then Ethan Ewing, and Griffin Colapinto are the three surfers who are dueling for those final two spots and in closest contention. And then Felipe Toledo, Jack Robinson, Baron Mamiya, Leonardo Fioravanti, and even Connor O'Leary have mathematical chances, but are very unlikely to secure it.
Wow. Man, I would love to see somehow Jack and Griffin, or at least one of either Jack or Griffin, slide into a spot somehow. Um, I've Felipe Toledo at Cloudbreak. Excuse me, at Chopu,
And Cloud
vying
Break for that matter.
vying to get into the final five. I don't see that happening.
Me
But Griffin
either.
and Jack Robinson, both those guys could win.
So Griffin, I would take a little umbrage with. Griffin, I don't think is as strong in big left barrels as Jack Robinson or Baron Mamiya. And also I've seen him at finals day enough to where I'm kind of like, dude, you've got your shot at your home break. Like I'm ready for a mix up. I'd rather have Baron Mamiya in this draw.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun to watch because, you know, I don't want to say who I would want to see replaced. There is a surfer in the top five that I'd rather not see.
Italo,
No.
Kanoa.
Let's just say I'd rather see Jack Robinson, Baron Mamiya, or Griffin than one of these surfers.
Kanoa.
I don't want to, you know.
Well, maybe that's your thoughts now, but I would like to rewind the tape to 3 or 4 years ago where you were saying Kanoa's looking good for a world title. So
Yeah, that was 3 or 4 years ago.
there was a moment in time.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway,
Um, I'm surprised that Jack Robinson isn't in that mathematic or in that kind of more
me,
secure position already.
me too.
And then Connor O'Leary, of course, only just got into this position by virtue of his win at JBay, but it'd be kind of incredible if he did win Chopu and found his way into a final five. I mean, he is equipped. He's done incredible at Chopu in the past. Um, it's a major long shot, but that would kind of be an incredible Cinderella story.
That would. I mean, look, as you mentioned, Connor, Barron, Jack, and I think Griffin, they could all win out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Baron Kid for sure.
So we shall see. It starts August 7th, I believe.
Yeah. We got some time. And then on the women's side, Molly Picklum, Gabriella Bryan, and Caitlin Simmers are all safe and secure in the final five. Isabella Nichols, Betty Lou Sakura Johnson, and Caroline Marks duel for the final two spots. So there's three surfers really kind of in tight contention. And then mathematical long shots are Tyler Wright, Lakey Peterson, Aaron Brooks, and Luana Silva.
Well, frankly, the final five as it is now would be great. Um, I do think having Carolyn Marks in there would be fun because she's the defending champ, right? Isn't she the defending world title champion?
She is, but she's had a really off year. I'm kind of surprised to even see her in contention right now, considering her results this year.
And of course, Aaron Brooks is the one that we'd like to see in there just because she's the young up and comer. She's a goofy foot. Um, you know,
Yeah.
cloud break. She's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I'm putting my money on Betty Lou Sakura Johnson and Caroline Marks to sew up that final position. Isabella Nichols has had a really good year, but I don't think that I don't know. I can't even remember surfing big barreling left, so I don't know what to expect from her out there. Whereas Betty Lou Sakura Johnson, I know is comfortable. Caroline is obviously comfortable. Um, like we said, it's 2 weeks until this Chopu event, so a little bit of time. Oh, before I move on from that, actually, Kayuli Vost and Vahini Fierro are the two local wild cards into this event. Kylie Vost has made the finals out here before, and he was going switch stance in the semifinals. Like it was an incredible performance, and
Yeah.
he won the gold at the Olympics out here.
Yeah.
So he is
He's
absolutely
a
a threat.
favorite. He's got to
Absolutely,
be a favorite.
totally. And he
Yeah.
draws Jordy Smith in the round one.
Oh, wow.
So Jordy's got his work cut out for him here. And then Vahini Fierro also great performances out here, and she draws Gabriella Bryan in round one. So those are tough draws. Now, interestingly, there's a second wild card available for the local trials winner. Mia Monabray won for the men's side, great local performer. And then, as I mentioned, the 12-year-old, um, trying to look up her name, forget her name already.
Miss Chopu.
Yeah, exactly. Kalia Mahina Galina is obviously the women's winner, but Gabriel Medina reached out to the WSL asking for a wild card into Chopu, and they said, "Bad news, Gabe. We already gave it to Kayuli Vost, a very, very deserving Kayuli Vost."
Yeah.
And so they said, but if there's an injury, we would like to offer you an injury wild card. And Gabriel's people responded and said, no, thanks. Like we're
Oh,
basically, we're not
that
going to
was
wait.
not a good move.
We're not going to wait around until the last minute. Like he's got things to do. He's got obligations. He's got busy
Oh,
travel schedules. So we're not going to wait around till the last minute. And then,
that's sort
uh,
of disrespectful. I don't know.
well, what's crazy is Alejo Muniz just withdrew. He's
Oh
got
my
he
God.
he got injured at JBay, and he's going to have surgery, so he just withdrew like within the last 24 hours.
And
And
now what?
so great question because there's still 2 weeks, so it's not the
Yeah.
last minute like Gabriel's
Yeah.
team was worried about. And I don't know if he
How
goes
does that
back.
make you feel about Gabriel Medina
It
coming into this event? It just feels kind of disrespectful. It feels like, hey man, I'd like to do that. What do you think? Oh, sorry, you kind of blew it. Oh, well then screw you. I'm too busy. Oh, now it's just
That's how I feel.
it
So
feels really lame. Like
so
just
my
not
my
cool.
my problem is from the very initial get-go, which is Gabriel Medina, this is a profession and you're supposed to be a professional. So don't you think you would have submitted your wild card entry I presume you know the rules. I presume if you wanted to surf this event, you would have been thinking about that a month or two in advance, and you could have submitted your wild card, uh, whatever submission before they gave it to Coyote Vost. So that was already on you. The fact that you came in after it was already given out is already on you and your management team. And then if you're going to play that card of like, oh no, I'm not going to be second, I'm not going to play second fiddle or sloppy seconds or whatever. I think that's what you said. It's petty.
Quick hot take. Will Gabriel Medina ever win another world title? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, will John Florence?
No.
Yes or no? No.
What are your answers?
No and no.
So Gabe, I'm telling you, man, if Gabe decides to come back next year,
Yeah.
he's unstoppable.
I don't know. I sense that Gabe kind of feels like he doesn't need it. And you gotta have a headspace that's just frothing.
You don't. Oh, so if Gabe, so you're suggesting Gabe doesn't come back because he doesn't need it.
No, I'm
But
suggesting he comes back, but he kind of just is like, hey, we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to go out there and put on just, like if he's not like, and the way that he's handled this situation suggests to me that his team around him is like, yeah, let's go do another hot tub. Let's go do a wave pool in Dubai and get in the hot tub and shoot some social media. And I mean, what's he got? Like 5 million, 6 million social media followers? Who
thir
needs a world title?
13.6.
Yeah, you don't need a world title. That's a world title in and of itself.
Yeah, I think he wants more. I think he is hungry enough to where he wants more and more and more. Um, he has the titles, but he doesn't have world records in the most titles. Like there's other benchmarks to hit for
Oh,
him.
for sure. I'm
He
just
needs more than
not
Mick.
sure
He needs more than MR. He's not going to get more than Slater at this point, but he wants to have more than those other guys.
we
So
don't know that. We
I,
don't know that's what he wants.
dude, he's a competitive beast. I guarantee he's going to come back next year with so much heat that it's going to kind of blow doors.
We shall see. I'm claiming no more world titles for Gabe.
So I'm claiming he actually collects this injury wild card off of Alejo and really, really upsets the field in Chopu.
That would be exciting for sure. You know
That's
what? Let's
one.
take a quick break
Okay.
and we'll come back and we'll discuss more. Because I
Okay.
have a who said that. I'm gonna try to
Perfect.
stump you.
Okay.
And I've got a very expensive surfboard to discuss.
Sweet.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Before we finish with the Chopu and get into the things that you teased, um, if anybody is bored in between now and then, the US Open is also taking place. This Saturday is when it kicks off for those who care. And I know, look, it's not an exciting event, but I was thinking about it, and the winners of that event often go on to do great things. Like Philippe, what? Don't roll your eyes at that. It's true. Al Cleland Jr., remember how he qualified or how he got into position to then
Yeah.
take Gabriel's injury wild card for this season? It was through virtue of winning the US Open last year.
Look, it's no doubt it's important for qualifying for sure.
And the winners specifically go on to greatness. Felipe Toledo, that was an early win for him. Kanoe Igarashi.
What about Hirohoto?
Yeah, I don't know
Whatever
who that
happened?
is.
Who's the Japanese guy that won?
Oh,
Whatever
yeah.
happened? Yeah, remember? Like nothing great occurred.
He bought a couple of cars. That created the greatest meme of all surfing.
Man.
Yeah, Hiroto Ohara. Hiroto Ohara.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
that shoots a hole in your whole theory.
no. I mean, the one example that you can give only proves my theory because all the other ones went on to greatness. So look for who's going to win this event and then put your money on them going into the CT.
David, I've got a question for you.
Who said that?
No.
No.
If that's coming up, if I told you metaphorically that it's kind of like walnuts in a jello mold, what would I be referring to metaphorically in a surf report? So what in a surf report would be like sort of like walnuts in a jello mold?
This is the hardest question I have ever been asked in my life.
That might mean my metaphor didn't work. Oh no.
I mean, so
Oh,
just to be clear,
yeah.
walnuts are not good in a Jello mold, correct?
I
Or
would
are
agree with
they?
that.
Okay,
They are not good.
I didn't know maybe they're the best part of the Jello mold for you because I
No.
love walnuts. I don't love Jello.
Well, here's the answer. Are you ready?
I'm not
Or,
sure.
or do you want to guess?
I can't guess. I have no
Okay.
clue.
So today we had 5 second wind swell. And we had some new building south swell, very small, but 17-second long period south swell. So the 5 second wind swell, it's like walnuts in a Jello mold. It just gets in the way. I mean, I'm okay with 9 second wind swell where it kind of breaks it up, but 5 second wind swell is like walnuts
Yeah,
in a Jello mold.
I understand. So without a multiple choice, you expected me to pull from from my imagination 5 second wind swell as the answer to your question. That would have been, I would have had to have listened to your surf report this morning, apparently, to understand what they're.
Yeah, maybe it was a stretch. I don't know. I'm
No, it
just
makes
wondering.
sense when you're delivering the surf report. That makes sense, but
Yeah,
out of the ether, impossible for me to pull.
yeah, that was a tough one. Okay, fair enough. Who said that, David? Are you ready for this? This is the section of the show where there's usually a some sort of sound drop, but I'm going to give you a quote, and you're going to tell me who you think said that based on 4 suggestions that I offer you. Ready, David? Who said that? And I quote: Tom's a great surfer, but I think his career was definitely helped by the fact that he rode for Quicksilver and they promoted him really well. They spent all their advertising dollars building up that image for him. Whereas I was sort of in the shadows of Tom Curren at Rip Curl, so I didn't have all that money spent on me. I think it also helps when your brother, Nick Carroll, is the editor of a major U.S. publication. Who said that, David? Was it one?
Damian Hardman.
That's right. It was Damian Hardman. You nailed it.
Yes. I feel like if I'm going to get one, I better like stake my claim and shout it out before you give me
Yes.
the multiple choices because I get so many of them wrong.
You nailed it.
What were the other
The
options?
choices were Donovan Frankenreiter, Barton Lynch, Damian Hardman, or Sonny Garcia.
Yeah. Easy. The multiple choices made it even easier. But
Yeah. Tom Curren at Rip Curl sort of gave it away, huh?
yeah, the
It's
rip
an
curl was
interesting
what gave it
quote,
away.
though. It's a very interesting
Well,
quote. It's a very sort of
he's
like F you kind of.
so my I was going to ask you, but I'll just share my thoughts on it. Uh, yes, but he's also missing the point. Like that is all true. They did put their money behind him, between Carroll, but from my remembrance of Damian Hardman, he was also just a lot less dynamic surfer. He was a tactical surfer, and it's kind of like that'll get you somewhere. You can win some heats. You're just not going to win over the hearts of all of your fans. And so to not understand, have the self-awareness and just blame marketing spends seems a little bit like you're missing the point.
Yeah, I would agree. It didn't. That was from I think a 1999 interview with Damien so a long time ago, over 25 years ago. So
He may have more perspective on it now. I guess one thing that I've kind of been reminded of over my lifetime is nobody is out to get you. Like your rip curl handlers want you to thrive. They want you to succeed. Your boss at your job, people always complain, my boss is out to get me. No, they're not. They benefit if you do well. You know what I mean? And um, so whatever is happening, it's kind of like they are spending more money on Tom Curren and Tom Carroll. It's because they're a more dynamic surfer. They're more charismatic in certain ways, whatever it is. So internalize, figure out a way to become what you want to become without feeling victimized by the people around you who actually want you to thrive.
yeah,
That's what I would say to Damian Hardman.
okay. I think you're right. I think that's great advice.
But that
Um,
technical kind of
yeah,
style of surfing still has relevance and it'll get you to a certain level. So we
yeah,
do value that.
Kanoa. You'll get a 7 on every wave.
You're coming down on Cano. I'm glad to see you come off him, because even when you said he was going to be world champ, I was like, I don't know. He'll
That
be
was
up in the
3
mix.
years ago.
Yeah. He's doing the same surfing then that he is now.
I will say this, if there's one guy that could reformulate a real desire to be the world champion, it's Kanoe Igarashi. In other words, you're expected to be the world champion. You rise up the ranks. You get this great sponsorship. You're giving all of this accolades. The Olympics come to your home nation state. All of these things happen, and you don't really reach the pinnacle that perhaps you had set for yourself. The goals weren't quite reached because of his, and this might sound ignorant, but because of his the Japanese culture that he's been brought up within, you could see him sort of putting the sword back into the fire to recast and resharpen the steel and the edges of that sword, to bring the sword out of the fire and come back with an unwavering commitment to a world title. It might just be Kanoe Igarashi.
So what would he have to do? What would that look like? How does surfing have to change?
I don't even know if it's his surfing would have to be a little spicier. I think he's got the surfing to win a world title. I almost feel like there might need to be a break from a reorganization of his team around him that is like solely focused on this sort of Japanese culture of sort of the samurai culture.
I've got a suggestion for what I think his chapter 2 could be.
Tom Cruise as his
You talking about that movie from
yeah, Last
2004?
Emperor or whatever it was, Last Samurai.
The Last Samurai.
No,
No.
what? Okay, what?
No, it would be adding muscle and bulk. I think he could revitalize his program by hitting the gym and adding 15 pounds of muscle, and then reinventing his surfing through power.
Okay, interesting. He's a pretty big guy. I want to say
He's
he's over 6 feet tall.
he's about 6 feet, and he's slight,
Yeah.
and his surfing reflects it. So look at Italo and Gabriel's gym programs. Those guys from their early days have packed on serious muscle, and their
Yeah.
surfing reflects it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be Kanoa's only opportunity and option at this point. But I'm going to throw a couple of others at you for round 2 in their career. What could Felipe Toledo do to revamp his program?
I don't know if I mean, what could he do? Okay, what could he do? Spend basically October to February in Hawaii.
With Jamie O'Brien or Billy
Yeah.
Kemper.
Yeah, something
And
like that.
similar advice to Kanoa is hit the gym. Felipe Toledo not only looks slight, he looks actually a little flabby or like lacking of any muscle definition. You know what I mean? So I'm like, partner with
Dad, he's
Billy
got a dad bod.
a little bit, like
Hmm.
partner. I'm sure his cardio's through the roof because he can
Yeah.
surf forever at a fast pace, but like, um, he doesn't have like an athlete's body for sure. And
Yeah.
so partner with Billy Kemper in the gym, do the Kahea Heart gym thing, and stay on the in Hawaii through the winter and really, really dedicate to it. And I think you would see him, that is an opportunity for him. Like there's other surfers that are so complete. Um, Gabriel Medina, John Florence, where you're like, I don't know how they reinvent themselves, because it starts to look stale with the judges where you just see the same thing year after year. And that's probably to their taking a year off is to their benefit in that respect, because they come back and we're eager to see them now. But somebody like Felipe Toledo, we know what to expect, and it's hard for him to go above and beyond. But if he came back with that level of like, he had a 6-pack, he had some traps, and then he's charging in big waves, it'd be like, holy cow, this guy is unbelievable.
Check out my traps.
What about where does Italo go from here? How does Italo have a round 2 or chapter 2? I mean,
His problem, I think, is mentally. like his mental approach, his approach to heats. He's just he's a little he needs to be reined in a little bit. He needs to be a little bit more focused, a little bit. You know what it is? Meditation. He needs meditation in his life daily, an hour every day to
Red Bull
find it.
doesn't allow for that.
No, it doesn't. To find maybe what if Red Bull came out with a meditation mix, like
The exact opposite of all of
yeah, the
their other
exact
product
yeah.
offerings.
It's got like, green tea and elderberry and who knows. But yeah,
I'd be interested
meditation
at that
for
point.
Elo. Actually, I feel like everybody would benefit from meditation, quite frankly. But
Um, I don't drink Red Bull. I mean, honestly, I've probably had it mixed in with like a cocktail 15 years ago, like Red Bull and vodka, but I've never drank a Red Bull straight from the can. Um, and we don't have it around. But last week, Lauren had one. We were going out with friends for like at 4 p.m., like cocktail hour kind of a thing. And so she had Red Bull and vodka. It effed up her whole night. Like she woke up at midnight. I then glanced over at 3 a.m. She was watching her phone at 3 a.m. I was like, what happened last night? She's like, it was that one Red Bull at
yeah,
4 p.m.
yeah,
Jacked it all up.
yeah, it can do that. It's weird. As we get older, I've noticed caffeine really, like when we were younger, like when you and I were like, let's say 22, and I can't speak for you, but I mean, I could have a cup of coffee in the middle of the day and sleep really well that night.
No
Now,
problem.
a midday caffeine, then you're screwed. I'm screwed through, like there's no sleeping. Well, there's a waking up at 2
Yeah.
a.m. is what happens.
And it's a general restlessness at night. Like even if your eyes are closed, you're not getting quality sleep. Much more affected by it. Anyways, back to Red Bull.
Yeah.
Idolo.
Mila.
Side note, as it
Yeah.
relates to Red Bull, Garrett McNamara told me he opted out of his Red Bull contract for that it just didn't align with his values anymore. Like as he has been doing his thing in recent years and wanting to do it longer into his late 50s and 60s, he's like, I can't be promoting this sugary poison to children anymore. Like I had a contract. He's like,
Oh,
I'm the only athlete ever. That's what he said. That's a quote. That's not
I'm
me
sure it
saying.
is. No, that's what we love about him.
Yeah. So he said he's the only athlete ever who turned down their paycheck.
The only athlete ever, huh?
Well, because it's
I
a
think
good
there's
paycheck.
guys that take the paycheck and just don't even drink it.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Italo's definitely drinking it though. Look at him go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it does give him wings. Um, so, anyways, I agree with you. That is Italo's chapter 2, or I don't know why I keep saying that. It's his next chapter. They're in like chapter 8 and 9 at this point. It's not chapter 2, but that would be his way to reinvent. We've already seen 2 world titles. I think we've seen a gold medal from him. Like he needs to reinvent in some way, and it's slowing down. That would be the next chapter for Italo.
Yeah. All right.
So I
Well, we'll
agree.
see. We'll
I
see.
agree. Um,
You ready for, go ahead. What do you got?
no, you go.
Well, I've got some information about a $3,000 surfboard, David. I don't know if you saw this. I found this on Surfer Magazine a couple days ago. But Porsche, famous car company, Porsche. Is it Porsche or Porsche?
Porsche.
It's Porsche.
I call it Porsche, but it's Porsche.
Okay. Porsche drops a $3,000 surfboard inspired by iconic car. That's the title. I'm going to read from Surfer Magazine. Amongst car enthusiasts and surfers, there's a common bond, one that involves the upper echelon, financially speaking, in which fans become collectors. And Porsche has blended these two worlds with the drop of a new surfboard inspired by a classic car. In a new collaboration, Almond Surfboards, I think they're from Costa Mesa, Almond,
Correct.
and Porsche have unveiled a surfboard reimagining of the 911 Carrera RS 2.7 from 1972. As for the specs of the surfboard, it comes in at 6 feet. It's equipped with a single fin setup and a swallowtail design. In addition, there's going to be a clothing line to accompany the board, and it comes in 3 colors, red, green, and blue. Adding to the collector's item factor of the board, only 72 of these 1972 911 Carrera surfboard inspired, only 72 of them will be made. And the price tag, David, $3,000 for each of these surfboards. A Porsche almond surfboard based on the 911 Carrera from 1972.
It's a cool looking board. Beautifully made.
Yeah.
Cheaper than those Tesla boards that came out a few years ago for, I think those were $5,000.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's been a run of these types of boards. Like I think there was like a Coco Chanel or a Gucci board or something, or
I think Chanel, Louis Vuitton has done them. Those are generally like the $10,000 to $12,000 price range.
yeah, those,
You're
yeah.
not buying them?
I mean,
Are you reselling them at auction down the line?
no, I don't know about that, but my point is that like surfboards get their mojo from the person that built them, not from some outsider that slaps their logo on it.
No, but Ali or yeah, Dave Ali and Griffin at Allman built those boards. Like they're always
Yeah,
tasking
but see,
insiders to make those boards.
but the thing is that those names that you mentioned need to be highlighted.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
can't just be almond surfboards. It needs to be who, who's behind it.
Right. Well, my point is Porsche is the only reason it can get the $3,000. Like we know what Allman surfboards sell for. You can go to their website and buy them right now. So by putting the Porsche logo on it and doing a slightly different finish, that's what jacks the price to 3,000. But that's why they're also not for you and I. It's for the Porsche collector who wants a board that looks like their car.
I agree, but my point is this, is that if you're a Porsche collector and you said, "Hey, you can have this killer Porsche surfboard." Guess what? It's made by Dave Ali, iconic shaper from Costa Mesa, California, and then you just lay out why Dave's important. As
Yeah.
opposed to, "Hey, there's a Porsche surfboard. It's an almond surfboard." It's almost like it was given as an afterthought. And
Yeah.
I think that the people behind almonds should be more excavated so that the Porsche collector's like, "Oh, I've learned now that this isn't just any old surfboard. This is one from Dave Ali."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the people underneath the brand need to be excavated,
Yeah.
you know.
Just to clarify, to do justice, Dave Ali is, an owner and founder of Allman, but Griffin Newman is the shaper. So
Oh,
Griffin would be the guy that they're pointing at.
who knew?
Um,
That's
yeah.
my point.
Yeah. So these things are always funny to me when I see them, but do you follow Son of Cobra on Instagram?
I think I do.
Son of Cobra out of Costa Mesa builds these like beautiful boards, beautiful finishes, like lamination, color work, polish, all that sort of stuff. And he seems to be a car aficionado or
Of
fanatic.
course, Son of Cobra is awesome. Now that you just,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you'll see these like collectible, like an old 70s BMW or Porsche or something like that with like this really beautiful paint job. And then he'll build a board that mimics that same paintwork or something. And then he'll photograph them together. And you're like, wow, what a stunning combo. Like I would love to have either the board or the car in this scenario or both. And
yeah,
it's obviously not it's not that car company who's just trying to sell it to Paris Hilton or something like that. It's for surfers by surfers who happen to be actually passionate about both those things. So that would be your alternative if you're interested in this sort of thing.
yeah. All right. Well, um, by the way, on a surfboard note, the boardroom's coming up October 11th and 12th, presented by US Blanks, and Best in Show. The category this year is fish. Make us a fish. There's $1,000 for first prize, and any board builder anywhere in the world can enter, and it's free to enter. All you got to do is bring your board to the show, put it on display, and the public and our judges will vote. And Best in Show fish
Cannot wait. We
with
will be
wooden
there.
accents and meaningful symbology. You should
Sweet.
add some wood, add a little wood accent, add of something meaningful symbology wise, maybe some art. Best in Show Fish. We got some great entries already, and it's going to be a fun event. So looking
Honoring
forward.
Eric Arakawa.
Eric Arakawa, yes, our icon of foam in the icon of foam shape off. It's going to be great. We got an incredible exhibitor list too. I mean, Steve Boyson just signed up. Of course, all the heavy hitters are going to be there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
My must-see moment presented by Treeswax this week is the new Rip Curl film. It's called Dunno, like don't know, Dunno. I don't know. That's what it's
Don't know.
titled.
Uh-huh.
I was apprehensive to click play because it's like, okay, another 30-minute surf film. I don't have the time. I clicked play. I clicked play and I was captivated from the
Yeah.
opening sequence. It was like, wow, these guys, they hired Vaughn Blakey and Nick Paulette to make the film. They're kind of the go-to duo for Rip Curl now.
Yeah.
And those guys crush every single time. Like the surfing's incredible, but this was also a reflection of the editing prowess. And so I would definitely recommend checking that out. And it's all about the Grom team. So it's all young, like under 18-year-old surfers. To our point earlier about who's coming up the ranks and who we should look for, the Rip Curl team is unreal. And the opening segments are a brother-sister duo, Zion Walla, and now I'm forgetting his sister's name, Eden Walla. Uh, they're incredible. Zion, I think he's 13 years old and he's charging Puerto Escondido. He's doing massive airs. It's
Yeah. I feel
really
like I saw
remarkable.
Eden Walla at like Cloudbreak or Chopu or something like or maybe Desert Point or somewhere, just getting an insanely deep barrel.
Each clip is an A clip too. Like you see the craziest clip you've ever seen from a 13-year-old, and you're like, holy cow, great section opener. Then follows with him doing a massive air, and then follows with him doing some backside smash that looked like Connor O'Leary at JBay. And you're just like, whoa, dude, they're unbeatable. And every section of the film kind of built. It's really, really, really well done and scary what's coming up the ranks.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Walla, that's John Walla's kids. John Walla's a great surfer. I used to surf against John, I want to say, in some longboard events, but great, great, regular surfer. And he's just a charger.
Another thing of note, must-see moment presented by Treeswax. By the way, Spit, get your promo code. I think you get 20% off on treeswax.com with promo code SPIT. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can get it at retail as well, but the finer retailers up and down the East and West Coast, but also treeswax.com, 20% off promo code SPIT. It's worth noting Gabriel Medina just launched his own YouTube channel. So to your point about whether he comes back, does he need a world title? He's already diversifying into YouTube. I think he's late to the game, but he posted 2 videos in the last 8 days, and they have a combined 500,000 views. So he's entering the space hot and heavy. And if you just want more Gabriel Medina surfing for no other reason, that would be a reason to go check out the channel. But
Well, I mentioned last week, Stab's going to have their latest How Surfers Get Paid, and it's on negotiators and or agents and managers and how they sort of commingle and interconnect with the professionals, the surfers themselves. And so there was some mention about Nathan Florence's YouTube channel and Brendan Wasserman, and so that's going to be a good one, and it's going to kind of fit right into what you were just talking about with how these surfers have experts behind them that are kind of moving the pieces to the puzzle.
well, what a beautiful tease and segue, because can we discuss that at length, the Brandon Wasserman interview in the bonus show?
I haven't read it yet, but I saw it this morning. But
Do you have time
yeah,
for the bonus show?
I do. I do.
Okay, cool. Well, let's sign off here. We'll go to the bonus show. I'll bring you up to speed on some of that, and I have a couple of other topics I want to discuss with you as well over there. But before we do, reminder, become a member. Surfrider Foundation right here. Look at this. Surfrider.org. The ocean needs more friends. There's so much going on currently with politically current administration and offshore drilling and all that sort of stuff. So just go support Surfrider, become a member, surfrider.org.
And support our show. Become a Patreon member, and you'll get the
Heck yeah.
bonus show, which we're about to record right now, and we're going to discuss the negotiators and the Brandon
Well,
Wasserman interview.
And also last week we did publish on the regular feed the bonus show about the best surfer to never win a world title. And I've got 2 new submissions to add that can dethrone Bruce and
I
Brad
got a
Gerlach.
few too.
So let's discuss that too.
You know what? Until next time, but stay with us if you're here for the bonus show. Until next time, adios and aloha.